Hello, welcome to Practically Magic. You're watching from Rising Moon Minerals. I am one of the hosts, Courtney Pearl,
I'm Jaime Osbar.
and we're here to talk to you about magic. All things real magic.
Magical.
Magic in the world. I didn't pull a card ahead of time, so this is going to be a total
Totally fine.
surprise to both of us.
It
We'd like
always
to...
great thing anyway.
We'll just go with it. I'm using the Mythic Goddess Tarot. It's the same artwork and illustrator as the Mystic Nordic tarot that I have. I couldn't help myself. I had to get the Mythic Goddess.
Yeah.
I am all about the goddess. She deserves a shout out. Oh, I have a story for you in a minute, but we'll get to our card first. So I'm gonna trust that whatever card is pulled, it's for you at this moment in time. It's for all of us.
It's going to guide our
This
conversation.
shuffling isn't going super great, but sometimes that's a message as well. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. How the cards shuffle, what happens when you're shuffling. It can sometimes be like, what's stuck? What feels sticky?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the
Ooh.
7 of Swords. And the word is betrayal.
Interesting.
Ooh.
That's heavy.
That is heavy. I'm going to show it. It's not super artistic. I mean, it's kind of simple. Just the symbols of the swords. But the swords are very, I like how
Detailed.
they are. The swirls and I would love a sword like that.
It's almost like Egyptian looking.
It does. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because it's got like the symbolism that you see in a lot of Egyptian
hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I just brought out the Egyptian Book of the Dead in my art classes last week. I was like trying to relay some of the mythology that's connected to the Egyptians and the Greeks and my art students are young tween-age girls, and they were kind of looking at me like, what? And then I said, okay, hold on. Just reached into my bookshelf and grabbed the Book of the Dead and it was like, see these images right here? So that was really cool. But what does that come up for you when you hear betrayal? What comes up?
As I think over the last year of my life, so like October to October. So I know we're in November now, but like over the last year, the different ways that betrayal has shown itself in my life with relationships. Luckily not my close personal relationships, but people that have tried to like come into my space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if use is the right word, but
yeah,
kind of
intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah.
I mean,
take from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a couple of people that come up in my mind in the way that I feel betrayed by them. But what's the most interesting is that didn't trigger me. I think previously that would have triggered me like, oh my gosh, all these people have betrayed me and I want to talk about how they betrayed me and how I didn't deserve to be betrayed and all of those things. But really, it's more of like, we all deal with it in a certain degree in our lives, right? We all have been betrayed or been the betrayer.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
So you can sit in it and you can stew in it and you can say, oh, well, all of these things have happened to me and I don't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. Or what I like to do more recently is think about how I handled that, how I could do it better, and then give myself some grace, right? Like, I did this really well. I could have done this a little bit better, but we do the best we can with what we have in the moments, right? And it's really hard when you're feeling that heavy betrayal energy coming from somebody to not just like explode and be like, oh, I don't deserve this. And they just want this and they just want that. When really like it's just put up that boundary and they will self-destruct.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting because we were having some situations even in our social group where it was perceived as a betrayal, even unintentionally from our part or from your part. Was like we were just going about doing what we said we were going to do or what we wanted to do. Some people felt like, oh, you didn't include me in that, then I wanted to be. It kind of was seen as a betrayal. But what's interesting about the 7 of Swords, the way that I interpret it often, because I read it as a fire element rather than air, which is, again, you can argue what's traditional tarot, what's not. Anyway, But I often associate the swords with the fire energy. And for me, this feels like actions that happen to you or around you that sort of sort things out the way they're meant to.
Mm-hmm.
So as a Pisces, it's very hard for me not to stew in the emotions of it and to be kind of drive myself crazy going, well, what should I have said? What should I have done? How can I make this up? How can I make this better? How can I fix all this? How can I make everybody love each other again? Instead of being able to just take it for what it is and
Mm-hmm.
say, this was just a natural flow of how things happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that it also allows people to have their feelings about it and either decide if they want to be a part of it or not. So they kind of drop off or they sort themselves out
Yeah.
energetically in the way that they're meant to.
Sometimes as you fight it or as they fight it, when there's any sort of fight, things are starting to happen naturally. And if you don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
our natural way of dealing with it is to fight it. I
Yeah.
don't want that to happen. I don't want to
Yeah.
lose this job. I don't want to lose this friendship. I don't want to create turmoil in this relationship. But that's what's meant to happen at that time. So
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, oh, cling, cling,
In
cling.
the uncomfortableness of it. I love it.
Yeah. And so you're trying to like cling on to what you know and what you're comfortable with, even though that's what's transforming. That's what's working, what you need to work through at that time. And I'm guilty of that in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of situations. It's kind of like, oh, shoot. Well, I don't like what this person is doing to me. What can I do to make it better? What should I do?
Yeah.
And the best advice I ever got was don't do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how do I just do
Mm.
nothing? How do I do nothing? And so I found a way to do nothing on the surface, right? Where people could
Yeah.
see what was going on inside of me and behind closed doors
Bit
was
of turmoil.
a lot of
That
turmoil,
would be
a lot of emotion, a lot of breaking down, and a lot of not understanding what's going on. But I feel very grateful, very lucky to have had a group of people to support me
mm-hmm.
and to reach out to. So I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel like I had to figure it out for myself. So having that was amazing and probably the best thing that I could have ever had to get me through a situation like that because my return on that, my looking back and the learning experience I had in that was immensely profitable to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that when those situations come back around, it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not going to fight this. And we were talking about this before we started the podcast of you're like, I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I'll give it another month. Oh, I'll give it this time. I'll
Yeah.
give it that
Or
time.
if I did the thing we were talking about, I would still think about it and feel my feelings about it for another month. Like
Hmm.
I wouldn't be able to just be like, okay, that's done.
Right.
Whew, good. I'll move on. If it involves another person or any kind of confrontation, I'm like, did I handle that okay? Did I do it? What could I have said
Hmm.
differently? What could I have done? Did I do the right thing? Did and I'm trying to figure out a way to not do that because it's sleepless nights.
Hmm.
It's such wasted energy because I'm not going to do anything different. There's nothing different that could have happened, but
What's done is
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
What I've been stewing on is that going to come back at me in some way?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting that kind of go as well, just because I cannot control what other people are going to do or what they're going to say or how they're going to
Yeah.
react. All I did was give a consequence to an action or a decision that in return affected me and my business.
Yeah.
I had to set that boundary. And it's really hard when you're not used to setting boundaries to really set that hard boundary and go, I cannot accept this behavior and I need you to leave.
Yeah.
Right. Like in
Yeah.
whatever capacity that is, whoever that is with.
Yeah.
It,
I'm going to take this action to remove myself from
hmm.
your life
Right.
It- or whatever that might look like.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because boundaries, I mean, and my counselor that I work with, I guess kind of like a therapist, but counseling for working on relationship with my son. I go to a counselor and she's helping kind of work through. I use the word boundaries and she's like, oh, but boundaries is not what you're giving them. Boundaries is what you're going to do. which is the same. I mean, essentially what you said, it's like, I'm setting a boundary, but in this case, you were like, I am no longer going to be continuing my relationship as it has previously existed with you. So you'll be leaving now. That's how that worked out.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's like setting expectations. So with kids, setting expectations, and then there's setting boundaries, which is what I will do. That doesn't involve the other person. So it doesn't require anything of the other person to set that boundary. So that, just in case I need any clarity, that's helpful to me on what those look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were going to kind of talk about downloads or channeling or what that looks like. And it's kind of popular in the mystical world right now. There's this guy, and I'm forgetting all the details, so forgive me, but he channels and gives people answers to their questions. Channeling a being that may not be of this world, but he's got a big following because I think a lot of the things he's saying are really helpful. People are finding,
Comfort.
something wise about it, which I find fascinating because to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, Jesus and Buddha and all of these ascended masters from the past have said a lot of these things too. So when is it like just wise words? When is it channeling? And then I've heard a lot of people use the term downloads because when you're meditating or when you're in experience, sometimes like a sound bath or something that puts you into a trance state, really relaxed, or when there's stillness, you get these aha moments, these epiphanies that feel like they came from somewhere else. I know you felt that.
Yeah.
You may not have called it what sometimes people call it, download or channeling, but I think we've all, if our intuition is open enough, we've all had moments where we're brought some kind of awareness that we would never have had on our own otherwise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've experienced that as I've been walking the spiritual path. I do believe that I experienced it during my spiritual religious times as well, but I didn't feel like I was supposed to. So it was never anything I really shared. And if I did, it was not usually received very well. But in this space in my crystal shop, it happens more frequently and I feel more comfortable talking to people about it. I usually preface it with, this might sound a little crazy. And my friend, my really close friend, she's always like, she's good to remind me, you need to stop saying that.
Yeah. Because basically you're telling people like,
I'm crazy. Listen to my crazy
before
words.
I say this, just FYI, I'm crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've really tried to be more mindful of how I give that message that's coming to me. Because when I'm in the space and people open up and they start asking questions and they start asking for guidance, it starts coming to me, and I don't know how else to give them that information because it's only something that I can perceive. And I'm saying to them, so you're looking for support or guidance in this aspect. And the message that I'm receiving is that this crystal will help you.
Yeah.
And I would really like for you to hold it and see if it resonates with you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the direction I've been going with it. I still find myself going, this might sound a little crazy. Because I never know how people are going to receive it.
Yeah.
And it's easier to kind of buffer it a little bit and say,
disarm them a little bit, maybe. Yeah.
But then it's almost making it worse by saying, guess what? I'm crazy. So let me give you some crazy advice. So it's putting a negative spin on it before it actually comes out. So I'm trying to be a lot more mindful in how I give that information and how I guide people. But it is a beautiful thing. And as I'm trusting it more and more, and it's guiding me more and more, it's becoming less work.
It is. It's practice like anything else. Is a skill of even opening up your intuition enough to know when is the right time to say this, how should I say this so this person will receive it, or even just opening yourself up to that. I'm always really a little shocked and also jealous, maybe is the right word, when I see people who are so confident in their skills and their abilities, because then they walk up to people and they say, I have a message for you. Or they say it with such matter of factness that I'm not sure I'm there yet either. Like to not be able to say, I don't know if this resonates with you. That's kind of my thing. This might sound
I don't
crazy.
know how you feel about
How do you feel
this.
about this? But I feel strongly that I need to say it. When I first started studying mysticism, healing work, energy, I mean, all this kind of stuff, all this world, um, I started to open up kind of those clair gifts more and more. But I was doubting myself so much that I was like, well, is that real? Did I really get that message like I think I did? And I thought the only way that I can find out is if I test it out. If I see, and I have to be willing to look like the crazy lady. I have to be willing and to be okay with that. And I did way back when I was studying. I dropped my little toddlers off at this like 1 hour preschool they were in because they were like not even two. I'm going to say they were like 18 months old. This was the first time I'd even been away from them for any amount of time. And so I would go drop them off. I couldn't go all the way home. So I'd stop at a coffee shop and bring all my books. And I was studying chakras at the time. I was like reading up on them, taking notes, learning them. And, I had that one little hour and then I had to go pick them back up. So I was sitting at a crystal shop and I remember there's this woman who was sitting at a booth a little bit further away. And I kept getting this strong push to go talk to her and say something about her sister. I didn't get any more details than that. I was kind of frustrated because I'm like, I'm not going to walk up to this woman and just be like, something about your sister. What is that? But I kept getting pushed to go talk to her. In fact, she was by the door where she was sitting in her booth. And I got to the point where it was getting time for me to leave. I needed to get out of there. And I spent the whole time going, no, I'm not going to talk to that. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that the whole time. And so I'm throwing away my trash and I'm trying to get out the door, but she's right there. It was almost like energetically, I just could not walk past her. I just couldn't. I'm like, what's the harm? She doesn't know me. I'm going to look crazy. It's fine. I'll leave. No harm done. So I finally just got up the courage to go up to her and say, hey, I know this might feel weird. I'm kind of studying this type of thing, mediumship, and I just keep getting this impression to talk to you. And then she kind of cut me off and she was like, oh, no, that doesn't sound weird to me at all. My mom's a medium.
Like, okay,
She's like, I grew up, like this. And I said, oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, do you have a sister? And she says, yeah, I have a few sisters. And I said, I am really getting the feeling that you need to talk to one of your sisters. And she says, oh, there is one sister that we've been fighting and we haven't talked in a while. And I was like, well, I don't know why or what, but I'm getting the feeling that you need to call her. Have a nice day. I was like,
that's it.
Thanks for letting me do that.
That's
and
the
then
whole
I
message.
left. And it was nothing amazing. I loved watching the Long Island Medium on TV because I don't know, I just found it fascinating and interesting. But yeah, I was impressed with her. Obviously, it's a TV show, so who knows what that's really like in real life. But she does just walk up to people. I have a message from your father.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's been doing it a long time, but I don't know if I could ever do that. Also, I took mediumship classes enough to know that they were like, don't do that. And I'm like, makes
People
sense.
aren't always ready to receive.
They're like, consent is really important when you're reading people. Do not read their dead relatives or anything like that if you don't have consent. One of the guys that was teaching the class, he's like, I actually met Teresa Caputo and she tried to read me and I stopped her and I said, hold on, you don't have consent. And she went, oh, and they did not use that footage.
Oh.
And he was like, you need to ask people's permission before you just start reading them. And she was like, oh, well, I'm just, I've been doing this a long time. And he's like, I know, but I'm a medium too. And ethically, this is what I feel. And so he kind of
Set a boundary.
He's like,
go, boy.
yeah. So I learned a lot from that, and just don't do that. But don't do that.
Yeah.
But then I really did get more clarity on what channeling or messages, or we've talked about the crown chakra in past episodes. So go back and look, because we talked about when you're open to divine messages, when your crown chakra is open, you're receiving messages that are not from you. It's like your body doesn't know, your conscious mind doesn't know these things. So you're receiving them from source. You're receiving them from the universe. And then I was reading this morning. This is going to get us into a whole other topic. So I'm going to pin this and we'll create another episode about it. But I was reading on quantum physics about how they're talking about the whole universe being within us. That in alchemy, the Hermetic tablets talk about the universe, like everything is all one thing. So essentially, and I mean, there's a lot of steps to this, but essentially we are all things. So maybe in some way we do have access to all that information. And maybe it's not just that it comes from some source outside of us, but it's actually accessing information we already have.
True.
Like our DNA is such an immense download of information. Maybe it holds the entire history of the world in it.
It sounds a lot like, I haven't done a lot of research on this or studying, but like the Akashic record.
That is exactly what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, mention the Akashic records, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially an existing file of records of all things that exists in the universe. So when someone is channeling, downloading, meditating, astral projecting, astral traveling, they can essentially go and ask for a file in the Akashic records, and you can get information. You can get that download by asking for it. I had somebody who's working on something.
They're setting up Christmas.
You might not be able to hear it, but there was noises. Someone told me I was doing a healing with another Reiki healer who's very wise. She said, your grandfather works in the Akashic records now. So I have dabbled with connecting with him in a way that almost like I have my own familial messenger. So almost like a guide, I can take that avenue through to say, I need a file in the Akashic records about this. What have you got? And see what comes up. So I've loved playing with that and seeing where that gets me. But that's kind of cool. I don't think that you have to have a family relation. I also believe that once we like shed our egoic selves, that relation doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah. But she's like, but he does. So you can go access that.
Well,
fascinating.
Did you know that on crystals, a lot of different crystals, but mostly like quartz-based crystals, that a triangle will form naturally on the crystal, and that's called a record keeper.
Ooh.
So within that crystal, there is something from the Akashic records that will help you, like during your meditation, it will help you tap in. So as we're talking about this, I'm like, I don't know that I have anything here in the shop, because when you have those, they sell. People want them.
Ooh,
There's
I didn't even
also
go to look for that. That's amazing.
It's really cool. There's actually some rubies I'll show you remind me to show you before you leave. But it's a diamond shape, or not diamond, sorry. It's a triangular shape. Some will have multiple. So there's a lot of information.
Oh my gosh, I could totally see that.
Or there's like one. So I'll have to show you, but it's really cool.
Wow.
So as I said, I haven't done a whole lot of research on it, but I've heard this term record keeper. I've heard the Akashic records, things like that. I need to find the time because I'm feeling called to learn more about it, because I think I could use that for my own benefit and for the benefit of the crystals.
Oh my gosh.
But it is really, really cool. So I've seen them on like clear quartz, smoky quartz, golden healer, Lemurian. So we can probably talk about this a different time too, but
we're putting pins. We're like, pin that for another time.
But it's like the Lemurian culture is kind of like, it feels like the city of Atlantis, where it was like a civilization that existed and then it disappeared. But these crystals come up and they have seed lines. So there's these striations in the crystals that
Mm.
are from Lemuria, right? So information from that existence. So those ones are really cool. I do have Lemurians. I can show you those. Those are, and when you get a Lemurian with a record keeper, it's
Oh my
so
gosh. Okay,
powerful.
listeners, you got to come into Rising Moon Minerals. And if Jamie's here, say, show me this. Show
Show me
me
the record
this
keeper.
record
Yeah.
keeper. Yeah. So you can come see it for yourself. That's amazing.
That's very cool.
I'm just, as you're talking about it, I'm sitting here visualizing that and I'm thinking, what if it works in the same way that portals work? I have such a affinity, a draw to portals. When I was in England and we were doing these sacred sites, you know, all of these really cool sacred sites we went to, even just some historical sites. We went to the Tower of London. I mean, that was just, you know, being tourists and being like, I love history, so let's go check out the Tower of London. But there was so many doorways that fascinated me. I had to come home and I painted a series of them. I still have more I want to paint. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I took pictures. The whole time I was there, I was like,
That
click, click.
That one.
I came home and, you know, was doing like the slideshow for my family at after a trip. And I'm sure they were like, why all the doors? There was so many pictures of doors. So many. I just couldn't get enough. But it wasn't just doors. It was archways. It was staircases. There just seemed to be this magic. And the more I thought about it, the more I was convinced that doorways, any doorways, are so magical. Can you imagine? I mean, neurologically, we have this whole concept of going from one door to, you know, going through a doorway from one room to another. And we do that thing where we're like, why did I come in here?
Yeah.
And what is it about that doorway that caused that to happen? It's neurological. I mean, they've done studies on it where it's like the purpose of one room shifted your neurological focus into the purpose of another room. So you were in the living room and then you went into the kitchen, which have different purposes. So you go into there and then you're like, wait, why did I come into the kitchen? I can't remember now. And you have to go back to the living room to figure it out because you were in there when you thought of it.
Steps, yes.
Right. But I think it's more than just, you know, neurological. I think that there are energetic other dimensional things happening. I think that when you step through portals, that they create some kind of an energy vortex. And so you're going through it, it's affecting you somehow. So those transitions in life, when you're transitioning from one thing to another, you're becoming an adult, there are just certain portals you pass through. So when you're talking about those triangles in there and even like having them stacked or having them, I think of it like, what if that's an energetic portal that you can throw your consciousness through and access Akashic records or what that's drawing you to.
Right. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Very cool.
Go try it. I want to hear your experiences. I want to know what you get out of that because that is going to be incredible for people. The point, though, I think, is if wanting to engage with channeling, with getting into that state where you can be open to receiving messages. A lot of shaman use trance-inducing things. Looking at the flicker of a flame is one. So having a fire or a candle. That's why I think scrying works for a lot of people because when I do scrying in a dark mirror, I have a candle in front of it. So you see the candle and the reflection of the candle, and I just kind of stare into that. So putting yourself into a trance-like state, either with your eyes closed, like when you're meditating, or they say just relaxing your vision. So you're not focusing on any one thing. You're just staring kind of into outer space. Staring into outer space. We've all heard that when we were kids, right? You're like, what are you doing? You're just staring at outer space because you're like, I was thinking. And you're like, I totally did that once. Oh my gosh, I have a story. This is just funny. So, a little off topic, but kind of. I was doing that one time. Okay, I was in a fashion show when I was a kid. something with my dad's work. I can't remember why, but there was a Gap kids fashion show thing going on, and we were invited to go and be models. And a bunch of people that my dad worked for. So they put all the women into one room to dress. And I was getting dressed into these super duper cute, I wish they let me keep them, like corduroy overalls that were green with a little turtleneck under it or some 90s thing. Maybe a beret too. I can't remember, but it was like so cute. So I got dressed quick and I was ready, but there was a bunch of other women like getting dressed in the room. And I just kind of got into a trance. I was just kind of like waiting for our turn to go on or for someone to tell me what to do next. And so I was just kind of staring. And I didn't realize I was staring at a woman who was getting dressed. And she noticed and she was like,
Ooh,
she kind of like covered herself and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Huh? Oh, sorry." And then I was like so mortified. I'm like, she probably thought I was just staring at her getting dressed. It was a grown woman. I was like, oh my gosh. I was a little kid. I was like, that was humiliating. I remember it to this day. But that was one of those things where I was not actually looking. I wasn't looking at her. I didn't even notice until she said something, but I was just like, huh? Oh,
shoot.
Sorry. She was nice about it, but I was like, what did she think? I'm like this pervert, this little
I don't know that I automatically would go there, especially if it's a
I was
little
just
kid,
like,
but it was just kind of like,
oh, I can't even.
I can think of so many times that I was just like spaced out, right? Like
Totally.
just spaced out.
Yeah.
And someone's talking and like I can feel like something's going on, but I'm not
You're
hearing
not
the words.
there.
I'm not comprehending what's happening. And then they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Huh, what?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like whatever that was, it just like goes, it just disappears. And
Yeah.
I could never really pull it back when
Yeah.
I'm interrupted that way, right? So it is, I think it is a way of channeling, like something's coming through. Yeah. So
Yeah. But in those states, you can get some real epiphany. And I truly believe that that is also connected to our sacral chakra in that we are opening room. I mean, all of the chakras are aligned, but we're opening a space for creativity to enter our mind. Solutions to problems we would never have thought of on our own if we were trying to figure out the solution. We're working so hard to figure out, how am I going to do this? But when you sit in nothingness, sometimes just the exact right thing pops into your head and you go, oh, that's what we should do.
yeah,
Totally. I would never have thought of that if I hadn't been just like still
I
for a
hadn't
moment.
given myself the space.
Yeah.
And when we did our cohort for wealth building or whatever, Cambria said something that stood out to me. I wrote it down on a Post-it note and I stuck it to my computer. And it says, everything needs space.
Oh my
And
gosh.
every once in a while, because that's where I do a lot of my inventory, a lot of like my creative, sorry, dude, paying attention. A lot of my creative work is in that space. So every time I enter that space and I see that note, I'm like, it just reminds me, okay, I need to give this some space. I'm going to let it rest. I'm not going to push until I feel like I'm going to explode. I'm going to give it space. And it's like everything needs space. So it's not just like just certain things need space. And all of those things, it's like everything needs space.
Yeah.
So when I'm struggling with something, I tend to refer to that because it's in a place where I see it frequently. So when I'm struggling with something, it's like, okay, I'm going to give that some space. I'm going to move on to something else. And then I'll come back to that later or whatever it is that I feel like it needs. And then once it's had the space that it needs, it comes back around.
Yeah.
So
the solution will come. Yeah. I struggle I struggle to accept it into my own life. Let's be honest. I don't give myself enough time to meditate or have stillness. I'm go, go, go most of the time. So I'm trying to learn that balance too. But I talk to my art students who are younger kids and they're kind of at the cusp of life. They're at that age where they're going to start deciding whether they're a creative person or not, if they see themselves as a creative person. And I really want to hone into them how precious it is to see yourself as a creative person, because once they decide, I'm not good at that. I can't do that, whatever. It's really hard to get that back. It's really
Yeah.
hard to decide later to go back to that. And that's some of the healing work I do with adults. It's
Mhm.
often just going, when did you decide you can't do this? And how can we rewrite that story and remind yourself that every person is creative. Every person creates. And part of it is with the young kids is I challenge them to create moments throughout their week where they are bored. In this day and age, it is a dying art to be
Mhm.
bored. We have so much available to us to stimulate us all the time. Our phones are so readily available. I myself am struggling with an addiction to scrolling.
Mhm.
Totally admit it. If I have a free minute, I don't even know how it gets in my hand, and I'm over there just like,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I even on Facebook? What is happening?
Mhm.
I don't even want to be doing this. And that time could have been spent so many better ways. One of the things I liked about taking some shifts here at Rising Moon Minerals and being here for, was it like 6 hours or something?
Yeah.
I purposely told myself, you're going to come here. You're not going to get on your phone. You're not going to. So when there's no customers in the shop and I don't have any duties to do, I want to be bored. I am going to purposely let myself be bored. I have to be here anyway, so I'm kind of forced to be bored. Like, just embrace that. I miss jobs I used to have back in college where, you have to be there all day, but sometimes there's nothing to do.
Mhm.
You're being paid to be there, so you gotta be there. So, oh man, some of my absolute most creative ideas came from those times when I was just like, I got nothing to do but think. Back then, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have, we didn't have smartphones for sure, but I couldn't have my phone with me on the job. So, yeah, just the first thing you need to create for yourself is stillness.
Yeah.
Raise of hands, raise of hands out there. Who all gets great ideas or epiphanies in the shower? When you're showering,
Sometimes.
it's very common.
Yeah.
Or driving, sometimes if people have the radio off, they like just want to listen to their own mind for a minute. That's a good moment too. But when you're showering, you can't really do anything else. You can't um I don't know, like scroll on your phone, or you can't, turn on the TV or whatever.
Yeah. You have to be very present when you're in the shower.
Yeah. Creates a moment of like,
In a lot of ways, you're like
oh,
stripped, right? Like
yeah,
physically.
stripped naked to your very core of
Yeah.
who you
Physically
are.
and emotionally, you kind of have to get into that state of this is where I am for the next however long it takes you to take a shower. And as you're talking about it, I think, what do I do? And I'm constantly thinking about, I have to get through this to get to the next thing. I have to do that to get to the next thing so I can get here on time. I can get there on time. I'm usually showering to get ready to go somewhere. I don't usually
Yeah.
shower and then just sit and do
Oh, see, I
nothing.
shower before bed. And so sometimes showering is just like a long process of getting ready for bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend that if you can do that. But baths, not so much, because I'll usually take a book
Hmm.
to take a bath, like do something like that. So, and then you're just kind of in the water. I don't know, for some reason, that's not to me as good of a place to do a meditation. Also, the repetitive sound of the shower, the white noise sound
Hmm.
is really trance-inducing. So, playing a white noise machine or having that noise of the shower, drowning everything else out, can be helpful to get your state, your alpha brainwave state and your beta brainwave state to get receiving messages. As I'm looking at this too, my little cloth thing, I made this at a class. So they teach you how to weave on a loom. And I'm reminded how many women of a certain time period were called witches or were seen as magical people because, or even just wise, they just had wisdom. But they were often doing things like spinning,
Mm.
right? Using the spinning wheel to create the yarn and threads, and then looming, weaving with a loom. So when they're doing repetitive tasks, so there's that wheel spinning round and round, they get into a trance. There's a lot of science behind that too, of like your brain just getting to check out for a minute and be somewhere else. So they would get visions. They would get downloads of things like what the village needed to do, what was going to happen, solving problems for people. So I think that they were often seen as really witchy, wise, or whatever, medicine women. And all they did was they engaged in textile industry.
Yeah, it's true.
But they were called spinsters when they, which became a term for women who didn't get married, because it's like, oh, you're going to have to support yourself being a spinster, spinning yarn and thread. And I'm like, that doesn't sound too bad. I could do that.
I could do that the rest of my life, not deal with all the drama of the other
all
side.
the admin stuff. I posted something on the social media yesterday because I saw it. It was like me as a healer wanting to meditate, and I don't know. I would love to just sit and weave if I knew how. I'm just sit and weave all day. Meditate while I'm weaving. It's productive and it's meditative all at the same time. But yeah, I would love to be just doing that kind of stuff all day. And then here's me asking, you have to learn Canva and admin and bookkeeping and social media and this and this. And it was like that Michael Scott, like, meme where he's crying. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want somebody else to do all that stuff. I don't want to do all that stuff. I want to go out into the community and just like be with people, but just be like, it's just me hanging out, my people. What do you guys want? What do you guys need? What do you want to do? What do you want to? It's just like,
Speaking of community, we launched an event that we are doing between me and Courtney, Cambria, and our new friend Danielle.
Yeah,
we are doing.
we're all besties.
Yeah,
we're all besties hanging out.
It is really amazing when I sit and think about how quickly this came together.
I know.
When we were intentional about, okay, these are the four of us, and we're going to do this, and we launched it, and
yeah,
it's had a great response so far. So, December 20th here in South Jordan, we are doing what we're calling a winter solstice reset. And that was the message that was coming through to me. It was like, what do we call this event that we're doing? We knew we wanted it to be around winter solstice. And so everybody's talking, and the word reset just kept playing in my mind. And when I took the moment and I was like, I really feel like we should call it a reset. And then it was a discussion. It was like, well, why do we call it that? And what does that mean? And what does that look like? And then it just landed. And when the flyer came out, when the information came out, it was like, oh, it feels so right. Because just think about where you will be on December 20th. Not just physically, but emotionally. How much stress do we put on ourselves to go out and buy the right gift and put our tree up and get family gatherings put together and plan the meal and do all of the things, whether that be you as like the mom of the family or like the matriarch or the patriarch or whatever role you play. We tend to get very stressed. And this should be a time of calm, peace.
It's going into winter and getting ready for
the
dark months. Yeah. And I think it needs a rebrand. Personally, I think that we, have gotten so far into, and I love the Christmas traditions. I love Santa, all that good stuff. I think it's great and fun. But I think that we've gotten so far into what expectations and obligations we put on ourselves for the Christmas holidays, and it gets kind of overwhelming. And I mean, it falls a lot of times on the mothers or the women in the family to hold all that, to hold the burden of, you got to make this magical. I love Bad Moms Christmas. Watch that movie. This is what I'm talking about. But they kind of take Christmas back in that movie, and they're saying it's not going to be that. It's going to be what I want it to be. I'm going to have a good time. I want to have a peaceful, wonderful Christmas and Yuletide and all that as well. I deserve it. I've had a year too. We've all been busy and all been, we've all put in the work. So we want to rest, we want to reset. So I feel like it's going to be an awesome opportunity to let people, whatever they've got going on in their lives, if they're stressed, if they're running around chaotic, crazy, they might even be thinking, December 20th, that's just a couple of days before Christmas. That's my last Saturday. I don't know. And I would argue,
Take that
you
time.
need this.
Take the time.
Gift it to yourself.
Right. And we're giving you enough advance notice to say, okay, well, the Saturday before Christmas is actually going to be for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that time for me to gather as a community with these 4 amazing women. And
Who will just guide
yes,
you
we're
and
just going to
nurture
hold
you
space.
and wrap you in a warm blanket of holiday Yuletide love.
Reset. Like
Yes.
I love how it's coming together. I feel very grateful to have this connection with you guys, to
Yeah.
have everybody be so intentional and come together and create this event, to create this space for people.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing this and it's before December 1st, we're currently doing early bird pricing, which is $69. After December 1st,
Wink.
it goes up to $99, which is still a great value. You're
Totally.
going to get so much out of this experience. I will be there talking about crystal healing, crystal education. I will have crystals there that you can purchase or you can borrow for the event.
Yep.
Because
She's calling it rent a crystal. That's
yeah,
so cute.
it's going to be so fun.
Rent a crystal for the day. Try it on.
Yeah.
See how you
Come
feel
in,
about it.
grab a crystal that resonates with you and use it throughout the healing journey that you're going to go on, and see if that's something that you want to carry with you going forward. And if it is, great, you can buy it and take it with you. Or if not, you can return it and I will cleanse it and then I will make it available for somebody else. So it's there's a lot of opportunity there to connect. Connect with each other, connect with space, connect with crystals, connect with
The season.
yourself.
Yeah.
And the season. Yes, I think it's going to be beautiful. So, speaking of crystals, today we've decided to talk about smoky quartz.
Yes.
So, smoky quartz
I did
is
some
this
deep dive on smoky quartz this morning because I wanted to learn a little bit more about it, but I want to show you.
So, smoky quartz is a form of quartz, obviously, that has been in the earth longer than the clear quartz. It's a mix of minerals, a mix of heat from the earth, creates this smoky effect. So you can get it like super dark. You can get it like this root beer color, kind of this
root beer,
just darker. Anyway, the way that I like to talk about smoky quartz, it's an absorber of negative energies. So I like to recommend it to people who are in a space, maybe people that are like therapists, or if there's contention in your home, put it in a space where it can kind of pull that negative energy away from you. This is one that I also recommend that you cleanse often and frequently. With, you can either use selenite or you can use sage smoke. You can use Palo Santo smoke. Just make sure that you're releasing that negative energy because it will get overwhelmed and it will stop working for you if it's absorbed too much. So it's very simple to also set an intention of thank you. Thank you for assisting me and pulling the negative energy away from me. I release you using the smoke, using the selenite, however that is. Sound actually works really well as well. So there's a lot of ways, whatever feels right to you. But it is a very powerful crystal in protecting your space and protecting your energy from that negativity. So, and it's also just, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I, when I was looking it up, it was the root chakra that it associated with being, maybe that it's in the earth longer and has that dark in with the dark color in with the quartz. But I loved reading about some of the connections to mythology with the smoky quartz. Well, quartz in general, but they were in Greek. Crystal comes from chrysalis, which is the word for ice. So they believed that crystals like this were the gods' ice, like ice for the gods, because it would never melt.
I like that.
I just thought that was funny and interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love quartz of all kinds. I have a ton of different ones. And I almost wanted to, as we were talking about our topic today and what we wanted to talk about, uh, when I think about smoky quartz, I wanted to kind of maybe talk about imperfection in that something that's not clear, like the clear quartz, but has these other elements in it that um, show color. Because you have a mixture of like when you have a quartz with the amethyst phantom in it, or you can get like all of these cool iterations of quartz with the color. It's kind of like a where imperfection
Creates beauty.
is perfection.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been talking to my art students a lot about perfectionism because I was talking about painting and drawing, and I said there was a time when it was important to learn how to draw or paint a picture as realistic as possible because photography wasn't a thing yet. And that's how they could document as much as possible what was happening. So the artist Homer Winslow Homer. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I can't remember which one's first. Homer. Anyway, he was a painter for the Civil War. So he did a lot of paintings that depicted the soldiers and the environment. And he would go and paint it, again, to look as realistic, very good at detail. And when I talk to my art students now, I'm like, hey, that was important at one point in time. But where we have the existence of digital photography and anybody can get their photograph taken, I'm not so sure it's important that your picture, your painting look exactly right. I think that's a great way to develop your skills, is to get to the point where you can paint a portrait or a landscape to look so real it looks like a photograph. But as far as expression goes, the imperfection or the expressionism or the suggestive imagery is so much more valuable now. And that's kind of what I thought of when I thought of the smoky quartz, is how beautiful it is with this added element of this smoky look to it. It's not clear like a clear quartz. We sometimes, value things like diamonds on how the clarity is, but I don't know. That's not necessarily what it's what value you place on it, I guess.
Right. So your intention.
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel like a broken record sometimes because I say intention a lot. But when you start talking about something, you're like, I don't know. It's like this whole, I don't know this thing. And it's like, where's your intention?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it almost brings it like into focus when you say, what's your intention? And I talk about that a lot with people in crystals. A lot of times people come in, they're like, oh, someone said I shouldn't do this with my crystal. And I was like, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
It's more about what's your
Good.
intention. What's your intention? Yeah. So the
Yeah.
whole you should do this and you shouldn't do that, I don't agree with
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Or even if somebody was like, I am, I don't know, working on love, self-love, but I'm really drawn to the smoky quartz. Now, I wouldn't have picked the smoky quartz for that, but if somebody was like, this is resonating with me for self-love for me, I would say then there must be a reason.
Yes.
There's something about what that does for you that you need it. And so I would never call that wrong or the wrong way to use it or anything like that. The only thing I care about when it comes to should or shouldn't with crystals is, there are some that you don't want to put in water.
Right.
And there's some that, you can put in water and actually drink the water and it's great. It could be really beneficial to you, and others that would be poisonous.
Right.
So things like that. I'm like,
physically,
you should or shouldn't do those things.
right.
But otherwise, intention, yeah, that's exactly.
I get people that ask about putting crystals in their fish tanks. So there's definitely a should and shouldn't there, because you don't want the water to become toxic to the fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely there are ones that you can and can't use in those instances. But when you're talking about using them energetically, and as you're talking about, we're looking for self-love, but I'm feeling very drawn to smoky quartz. The message that came to me as you were talking about that, because it does happen where people are like, I'm looking for this, but I'm feeling very drawn to that, is smoky quartz is connected to the root chakra. And if you're looking for self-love, but you're getting lost in the idea of that,
Yeah.
you need something to keep you centered and grounded while you're on that journey. So that
Yeah.
would be a reason, not the only reason, but it would be
Yeah.
a reason why you're being drawn to smoky quartz while working on your self-love.
Yeah.
So I love these crystals.
There's
Like,
a tie somewhere in that. We
yeah,
trust it.
yeah, it comes together that way. And there are crystals that have both. Like rhodonite has a black element that's very grounding, and pink
The pink.
that brings you into your heart center. So I've
Okay.
had people be like, well, I'm taking care of a sick loved one and I'm having a hard time not feeling resentful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, give yourself some self-care, some self-love, but also make sure that you're staying grounded. And in those instances, I'm like, rhodonite would be a beautiful crystal to hold with you as you're working in this space
Yes.
because it's got both.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get smoky quartz along with rose quartz.
Yeah.
Or grain aventurine, which is also a form of quartz.
Yep.
And this is currently our crystal of the week. So it's a beautiful heart
Green. Yeah.
chakra.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love this big one right here.
It's very heavy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so when you talk about quartz, there are a lot of different forms of quartz, and what they call
Amazing.
impurities or imperfections is what gives it the color, is what
Yeah.
gives it its individuality, separates it from clear quartz into smoky quartz or into the green aventurine or to rose quartz, because it's got a mix of something that's not present in just the clear quartz. So
Wow.
it's, yeah, quartz is a very powerful and got a wide variety of different elements that come together in quartz. So
Yeah.
find your peace here in the shop in Rising Moon Minerals in Riverton, Mountain View Village by the Cinemark Theater. Go online to risingmoonminerals.com. Send me a message.
Yeah. We're getting your messages. We've had a couple people pop in and we love it.
Yes, yes.
They're like, I just listened to this episode and this thing that you said really helped me. So don't hesitate to give us your positive feedback.
Yes.
If you have negative feedback,
Maybe hesitate a little bit.
But
we also like to hear that so we can know.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
Throw it at me.
Yes.
Give it to me. Give it all to me. And especially if you're making comments on social media, please make those negative or positive comments on social media because it helps either way.
Yes, yes.
With all that algorithm stuff. No, I don't mind at all. But yeah, check in with us because we've had some wonderful, pop-ins messages for the podcast, and it makes us feel so good. Some people that stop by the shop and say, Jamie, I've been listening to you on the podcast. And just for free, you can make us feel so good.
Yes.
For free.
Yes.
You just come in and say, love it. Or this helped me, or something you said. And then again, if you have questions about crystals, about healing, about energy, about magic, I would love to get your questions. And if it's something I don't know, it'll give me an opportunity to research something. And I love that. So
and opening up a conversation
bring it on.
between the two of us and then putting it out there so that you guys can interact with us as well. I love just opening that conversation, hearing your journey of healing and whatever it is that you're learning. I think it's a beautiful conversation to have. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of toying with the idea of we're going to give you some keywords and you can pop in and, maybe get a discount on healing work or things like that. So stay tuned for that. We're going to play with that a little bit in the future. So you can find me at Prism Healing, on Instagram at Prism_Healing, TikTok at Prism Healing, Facebook at Courtney Pearls Prism Healing. And that's where I do sessions, card reading, sometimes healing through art classes or workshops, lots of fun, exciting things that I can offer. And I highly recommend a full energy healing session if you're really wanting to deep dive into that self-awareness. Did you say yours? Rising Moon Minerals?
risingmoonminerals.com, rising_moon_minerals on Instagram, rising.moon.minerals on TikTok. Yeah, you have to kind of play with things as you're signing up for all these different, if you don't do them all at once, I guess. I pop on and talk about the crystal of the week I've actually started doing that, showing myself this week. Little Vinny here got to jump in because he just had his birthday. But
happy birthday, Vinny!
We try to have fun with it and give you a little bit of information on the crystal of the week so that you can see if it resonates with you.
Great.
Our sponsors, Sunshine Community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sunshine Community. Spreading sunshine throughout the community. I don't know if that's their tagline. I just made that up.
It works.
It sounds good.
It works.
But yeah, lots of people in the local community are part of the Sunshine Community, and it's so fun. I think all 4 of us are technically members. Some of us are founding members of the Sunshine Community in the Winter Solstice Reset.
Yeah.
So go find our social media that we just mentioned, and you can find the Winter Solstice Reset posts that we made, and it'll give you the instructions on what to do to get your early bird pricing and to get your link to register. And bring a friend. They're going to want to come with you.
Yes.
And then we want to thank Ride the Wave Media for producing our podcast. Jess Blaine, our wonderful producer, who's also helping us promote and
get the word out.
Get the word out about the Winter Solstice event, which is awesome. So you might see some of our promos going out on other podcasts on the network. So go check out the network and you can see all of the other shows that they produce. So it's awesome. And that's it for today. Go make magic, witches and wizards, magical peoples.
See you next time.